LSU heads into this matchup with Texas A&M, and with about 48 hours from kickoff, Brian Kelly on his radio show Thursday night made an interesting proclamation that was a 180 from what he said earlier in the week. Now, we knew LSU's starting left tackle, Tyrie Adams, was not going to play in this game. Injured his ankle against Vanderbilt last week in Nashville. He had already been declared out for this week. But what we didn't know was the severity of the injury and what they're going to do at left tackle. We thought we knew, but Brian Kelly first gave an update on Adams and the severity there.
He had a tightrope surgery, which is the surgery that they do for high ankle sprains. So he had that surgery on Tuesday. And that generally takes, 4 to 5 weeks to come back. So maybe we'll have him by the end of the year, maybe not.
Okay, so you're going to be without Tyrie Adams for a month. I mean, you figure 4 to 5 weeks, you're talking about being injured, having the surgery on Tuesday, a week before A&M, your open date, Bama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and then Oklahoma. So somewhere in that mid-end of November, possibly you could have him back. But the reality is you're going to go a month with a different option at left tackle. And that's where this gets really interesting, because Brian Kelly also on his radio show broke a little news that it's going to be the true freshman at left tackle.
We're going to start Carius Curne at left tackle. So there's a true freshman on one side, and then there's a redshirt freshman tackle on the other. So the tackles have to be able to handle their two defensive ends, 50 and 9. They are hard, physical ends, and we think Carius gives us the best chance to do that with his physicality. Again, he's a true freshman, so there's going to be some mistakes. We're going to have to live with some of those, but he's going to fight his butt off, and that's what I like about him.
Okay. By the way, I fully agree with Brian Kelly that Carius Kern is going to fight his butt off, and that's what they like about him. It's what I like about him. However, just 3 days prior, when Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday, that is not what he said, because Brian Kelly on Monday said that DJ Chester was going to play left tackle. Remember when Adams was injured against Vanderbilt after 15 snaps? It was Chester who played the remainder of the game at left tackle, and Brian Kelly explained, this was Monday, this is 3 days prior. 3 days prior, Brian Kelly explaining why they were going with Chester.
Well, that's the best fit for us as 5. For the 5 guys that we're going to put out there. That's our best situation. Moving Josh over there is not going to do it for us. DJ's played a full game there at tackle already. This year, as you know, he played the entire Florida game. Based upon that, and he virtually played the entire game against Vanderbilt, other than the first 12 plays. He had one stumble where his foot got caught in the ground on the turf, and we had a sack that was given up. But by and large, he did what was expected of him, and I have confidence that he can go out there and do the job. Like I said, they've got an outstanding pass rusher over there. 9 or 50 is pretty good too. We'll have to help. We'll have to do some things to get the ball out quickly. But I feel like if we do that, we've got a guy that's played a lot of football.
So, Monday, Chester, they wanted the experience over there at left tackle. Brian Kelly was also asked again, this is Monday. Monday, they were going with Chester at left tackle. And he was asked, hey, why not Carius Kern?
As it relates to Carius, we're in a situation now where, we've got a matchup this weekend against a veteran team and, a great pass rusher, certainly. And Carius is coming on. But to throw a true freshman in there, I don't want to put him in that situation. I could see him playing, but I prefer to play a guy that's had a lot of experience at that position. And knowing that whoever's at that position with number 9, you've got to help. You got to get somebody that chips. You got to put a tight end over there, elongate the pocket. You've got to do a lot of things in the pass game to help whoever's playing over there.
All right, 9 is Cassius Howell. That's who he's talking about. He's the transfer from Bowling Green. He leads the SEC in sacks. As a matter of fact, Texas A&M is first in the SEC, averaging 4 sacks a game. Their pass rush is really good. And so, yes, having experience on the offensive line would be beneficial. However, we all watched DJ Chester this past week against Vanderbilt play a game at left tackle, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Now he said Brian Kelly said Chester's foot got caught in the turf on that sack. He got flat backed is what happened. You want to stand up for your guy. Everyone always says Brian Kelly crushes guys in the media. He basically gave Chester a scapegoat right there where Chester got flat backed by a defensive end. But in any event, Chester's pass blocking grade from PFF was a 37.9 against Vanderbilt. Weston Davis, by the way, was a 23.7. They're going in the wrong direction. You want to talk about Carius Curne? And by the way, I'm going to talk about Chester here in a second. You want to talk about Kern? True freshman, works all fall camp at left tackle. Ole Miss on the road. Davis gets a concussion pregame. 15 minutes before kickoff, Kern finds out he's starting at right tackle, the place he hadn't played yet this year. He ends up starting, and Kern plays 62 snaps, all 62 snaps at right tackle, grades out at a 63.9. His pass blocking grade was an 80.3. He was awesome. Kern was awesome at a place where you've been bad all year. Why? Because he's a tackle. Let me break this down simply as I possibly can. A lot of people crack on DJ Chester because last year he was the weak link in your offensive line at center. And that's true. He was. Because DJ Chester isn't a center. He's 6'6", 320. He is a guard. He is not the guy you want putting his hand on the football every play, calling out the mic, getting your protections. You want DJ Chester to get in a three-point stance, to have a defensive lineman lined up over him, and to just move bodies or at least get in the way. That's what you want from DJ Chester. At a tackle spot, you're on an island. You have to kick slide. You have to be athletic enough to get to a spot to beat a defensive end. You either have that skill set or you don't. I don't care how many games you've played. DJ Chester is not a tackle. He is not a center. He is a guard. Eventually, hopefully, during DJ Chester's career, they'll play him at guard. Because when they do, he's going to be really good. Just like we had the same conversation with Sage Ryan for years. They're playing Sage Ryan at nickel. They're playing Sage Ryan at boundary corner. He ain't a corner. He's a safety. He had his best year at LSU last year playing safety. Not great. Not all conference, but it was his best year because he was in his natural position. Eventually, hopefully, they play DJ Chester at guard because he is a guard. Carius Kern is a 6'6", 320-pound human that can do a backflip. He is plenty big, strong, mean, physical, athletic enough to play tackle and to move bodies. He is a tackle. So play the tackle at tackle. Yes, I love this decision. This isn't just because they're announcing it today and I'm trying to sunshine pump. I've been saying this for at least a month now that Kern is one of your best five. It's been very apparent that Carius Curne is one of your best five linemen. I would have liked to have seen them replace Weston Davis weeks ago at right tackle with Carius Curne, certainly after the performance he had against Ole Miss. They have not done that. We've continued to see Weston Davis struggle. They've stuck with it. Brian Kelly's gone on the record saying they're continuing to play Weston Davis because he needs the reps. He'll keep getting better, and I believe Davis has the skill set. He does. He's got the athleticism and the skill set. He's just not there yet. He's having to play early as a young guy that's probably not ready to play. Curne looks ready to play. And I'll take some lumps if, look, you give up sacks to Cassius Howell. If it doesn't go great, okay, I'll live with that because I know that dude's ceiling is super high. And here's the other thing I know. You got a month. You got a month before Tyrie Adams comes back. So that dude can go park it at left tackle and not look over his shoulder and just go play free and loose and with reckless abandon and wreck people out there at left tackle and keep getting better. I'm excited to see what that looks like for Carius Curne. LSU's offensive line will be better with Carius Curne on the field because he is one of their five best offensive linemen. And oh, by the way, he spent all of fall camp running at left tackle. Adams was the first team left tackle. Curne was the second team left tackle. He spent all fall camp at left tackle. He is a tackle. Play the tackle at tackle. I don't know how it's going to look Saturday. It may not go great. A&M has got a really, I just told you they lead the SEC with an average of 4 sacks per game. They're top 10 in the country in sacks and TFLs. It's a really good defensive front. It may not go awesome. And if it doesn't, okay. But they'll have a bye. They'll play Alabama. And when they play Alabama, Carius Curne is going to be starting at left tackle on the road in Tuscaloosa. And he may never give up that spot again because he's that good with that high of a ceiling. He's one of your 5 best, and he needs to be on the field. So, Curne, I would love to know how they arrived at this decision, by the way. From Monday, when Brian Kelly definitively said, DJ Chester is your starter because they want the experience. They don't want to put Curne in that spot. 72 hours later on his radio show, they're starting Carius Curne because they like his athleticism and his physicality and all that stuff. What changed over those 3 days? I will be fascinated to ask Brian Kelly that question on Monday when we get the opportunity. But Tigers, Aggies, it'll be a true freshman, Carius Curne, playing left tackle, and I think that's a good thing.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.